Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Okay, well, I did see you there. I was trying to pretend you weren't there, hoping maybe I'd have some alone time. But you're here, and that's really okay. That's fine. Uh, I'm here in the woods of Northern California once again. It's a little bit colder than the last couple times I've filmed here. Not as sunny. We got some overcast weather. You know, we are getting on into fall. And it's a typical Northern California fall day. But I'm still enjoying it. It's nice to be out here in the woods, up here seeing my father, having a good time, just hanging out. And I like to take the time to film a video here when I can. Today I am opting to do a tag video, as I think I've done the past couple times I've come over here to film. So today I'm bringing to you the School Days book tag. I was tagged by AJ Dunn at AJ Dunn Reads and Writes. Thank you very much, AJ, for tagging me on this. This tag was created by Victoria at What Victoria Read or What Victoria Reads. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check on that later. And I will also link both AJ and Victoria's video here in the description below. But let's get on with this fun tag. And I'll go ahead and read from the description. The idea of this tag is that you do the times of day questions and then choose any of the subject questions that seem interesting to you. Pick and choose as many as you'd like and do them in any order. Just have fun. So I guess the idea is that this is like a school day, and these questions are about books, and they're kind of based around the typical school day. So times of day, for instance, we'll start with our first bell, and in which the prompt is to tell us about the book that first got you into reading. Now, this is really quite hard to pinpoint for me, as I started reading when I was quite young. I think I mentioned this in another tag, probably. And there's lots of books I read as a child, as a youngster, that I don't remember. But my go-to answer for this is Where the Red Fern Grows, as that's the first book that I can remember having a really powerful impact on me, and a really book that kind of taught me how emotional a book can be and how it can make you feel. So that's my go-to answer for this kind of a question. I decided to break up the prompts here such that it's as though we're going through a typical school day. So we've had our first bell, and now that we've had that, we're going into our first period, which is English. And this prompt here is, tell us about one book you studied at school and recommend one book that you would like to add to the curriculum. All right, so The Great Gatsby, I think, is probably one of the books that I read in school that I enjoyed the most. I think I read that my senior year of high school. And I, of course, was a reader at that time still. And this book really struck me. A lot of things struck me about it, the relationships between the characters and the writing style. As far as a book that should be added to the curriculum, let's say Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is probably the favorite book that I read while I was a teenager. Dracula is an amazing book, and it should be read by everybody. Maths. How do you rate your books? Very arbitrarily. I guess I use a 5-star system. I guess I'll use half stars in between when I feel the need. I don't know. I kind of don't like giving out star ratings or numbered ratings. It just... I don't know. Everybody's definition on them is different. I think that's not rain. That's like debris falling from the trees. Well, it looks like it could rain. You never know. Anyway, I don't know. Rating systems. You know, what's a 1-star book? What's a 5-star book? What's an A+ book? What's an F book? I don't know, man. I just either like it or I don't. Here's the things I liked about it. Here's the things I didn't. You know what particularly drives me nuts, though, are 10-star rating systems, particularly if the person giving the rating includes half points in between. Usually, when I see people do that kind of thing, they almost never give something a 10-star rating because apparently they are far above the material that they are judging, and nothing is perfect. And so we can't give anything the highest recommendation because there is nothing worthy of, I don't know, it drives me crazy. I guess maybe I'll give some 5-star ratings if I feel the need, or if I can cleverly, incorporate the subject matter of the book somehow into the star rating. But star ratings, what's the point? I don't know. So now that we've trashed star rating systems a little bit, let's go on to break time. Which book have you most recently had to take a break from, or DNF? Well, I recently finished A Little Life, and I did take a little bit of a break from it. That was because I was trying to schedule a video in between during my reading of it, and I wanted to stop at a certain point. Also, at the point where I stopped, there was a particularly difficult section, and I felt like, okay, I need to step back from this just for a day or two. So I guess you can say I took a break from that, though I did finish it. A book that I DNF'd, though, I think Abercrombie's The Blade Itself, which was loaned to me by my dear friend Michael K. Vaughan, and I do intend to finish it. I DNF'd it because just around the time that I was in the middle of reading it, I decided to start this booktube channel, which kind of changed my schedule and changed how I was reading and the things I was doing and filming videos and whatnot. So that's my answer for that prompt. All right, so now that we've taken a break, let's move on to our science class. Which book couple do you think has the best chemistry? Didn't think I was going to answer this at first, but I thought about it for a little bit, and then I remembered Benedict and Beatrice in Much Ado About Nothing, and their relationship and their kind of playground romance, wherein they hated each other but really were in love with each other. And I'm particularly fond of that because that is very similar to how my wife and I got together. We had that same kind of chemistry and conflict during our early period of our relationship, or of our meeting and friendship, I guess. But we quickly realized what was going on there, and well, now we've been married for quite a while. So there you go. Benedict and Beatrice in Much Ado About Nothing, that merry war between them. Okay, let's go on to our geography class. Describe a book that had a strong sense of place or great world building. Lots of good answers for this one, right? I mean, Lord of the Rings is the obvious one. That's one of my favorite things about that series, is the world building of it. And George R.R. Martin's Song of Ice and Fire is also a wonderful example of some incredible world building. I thought I would mention instead the Otherland series by Tad Williams. It's a science fiction series. There's 4 novels, quite large, so there's a lot of room to world build in these books. What goes on there, though, is it's set in the late 21st century, so not too distant future, in which virtual reality has improved to the point where it's totally immersive. And so Tad Williams has his main set of characters that go on a journey through different virtual worlds, and many of them are set in historical places, many of them are set in completely made up places, and many of them are set in fictional places. So we have characters journeying through worlds of, say, Wizard of Oz, or the Odyssey and the Iliad, or Through the Looking Glass. And what else do we have them going through? One other thing, War of the Worlds. That is also another world, I guess, that he has his characters going through. So Tad Williams' Otherland series, it's quite a commitment if you want to pick it up. It was written, I want to say it was written in the early mid-90s, and I read it, I picked it up because I was a big fan of his, what was the name of the series? Dragonbone Chair was the first book. I don't remember the name of the series, though. Anyway, Tad Williams, I was quite a fan at the time, so I read that book. Some great world building in it, virtual reality based world building. All right, so lunchtime, tell us about your favorite book that features food. I don't know that we necessarily, wow, sorry about the wind here. I hope you can hear me. I'll wait for it to die down for a moment. I tend to be soft-spoken, so the wind may very well be carrying away my soft voice. The wind chimes are nice, aren't they? Ooh. It's a little cold. All right, I'm just going to have to soldier through this. Okay, so lunchtime, favorite books about food. It was hard for me to come up with an answer for this. I don't think these kinds of answers we expect cookbooks necessarily, but I did want to mention that one of my favorite cookbooks is written by Marcella Hazan, and I did not prepare and I forgot the name of it. Hold on just a moment. Okay, here it is. I'm sorry, I'm not sure if it's Marcella or Marcella Hazan. It is called the Essentials of Classic Italian Cooking, and I love that book. It helped me improve my lasagna recipe, but I don't know if people are interested in cookbooks here as they are so much maybe novels that are based around food. So Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is what I came up with. Yeah, you know, we all know the story, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's a factory where they make candy and chocolate and stuff. And anyway, yeah, food, chocolate factory. Seems obvious. Okay, let's go to history class now. We'll move on from that. Food was never my best subject anyway. I did a couple of things really well, but overall. All right, history. History. Which 3 historical fiction novels have you most enjoyed? And if you don't read historical fiction, which areas of history would you like to learn more about? Haven't read a lot of historical fiction, so I'm stretching my answer for these 3 books. I've already discussed Aztec in another video. Aztec is a book written by Gary Jennings. I think it was published in 1980. It's set in the 16th century, and it's a pretty wonderful book. I read it a couple of times. I'd like to read it again. Also, I wanted to discuss Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. I read that. It's set in the 12th century. It's about the building of a church, and it's a very compulsive. Is that the word I'm looking for? It's an engaging read. It was hard to put down. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Read it a long time ago. Don't remember the details, but I remember really loving it. So I also picked The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, written by Michael Chabon. It might be a bit of a stretch. It takes place around the period of World War II, and yeah, it's a great book. It's a lovely book. I'm not sure I would consider it a historical novel, but it takes place in the past. So also worth noting that it is focused on the comic book industry, and there's a comic book hero called the Escapist in one of the comic book series that is created by characters in the book, and the Escapist is the name of my favorite comic book store in Berkeley. So I wanted to give a little shout out to the Escapist Comics in Berkeley, which is also it is also a partner store to another great bookstore, Dark Carnival, which I think I've mentioned before. Let's go get some physical education. PE. Show us the biggest book on your TBR. I'm just about to read this. This is The Stand. This is a part of the Read Every Book by Stephen King challenge, in which I'm tagging along with Michael K. Vaughan on this. I haven't started it yet. I know Michael has started it. He's about halfway through it. In the video he released very recently, he's talked a bit about this book. He's talked a bit about this book a couple of times in some recent videos. I really look forward to seeing what he has to say about it. Well, he makes me a little hesitant just to pick it up again. He doesn't seem to be enjoying it as much as he might have when he read it his first time around years and decades ago. Well, how big is The Stand? Anyway, if I'm going to talk about it being the biggest book on my TBR, how big is it? This copy is 1,138 pages, and that, 1,141, sorry, I didn't get the name there. It's been a little while since I read it. Looking forward to it though, maybe a little less so, now that Michael's been giving us some mixed reviews on it. Anyway, mixed updates, I should say. All right, so let's move on to music class. Which reading format do you think has the best rhythm for reading? I wasn't sure what was meant by this prompt, but watched the video and it seems that she's talking about which format, physical or ebook or audio maybe has the best rhythm for reading. I mean, everybody, I think most people in BookTube, their favorite format is going to be the physical book. Although, ebooks are fine, I guess. I don't mind reading an ebook, especially now that I have an iPad, a tablet, which is a lot easier to read than on the phone. It's a pain in the butt to read a book on a phone. And audiobooks are great too, though. They're their own experience. You get a different feel for the book. You get the interpretation of whomever's reading the book. Although it's nice if the author is reading it. That can be a good experience to get the author's reading of their own book. I always enjoyed that. Physical books are the best, obviously. I think that's a no-brainer for most of us. And such, we're now at the final bell. The final bell, which book have you most recently finished reading? That was going to be, when I first started taking notes for this, that was going to be A Little Life. But actually, last night, I finished A Case Against Satan by, oh gosh, see? I'm a terrible student. I did not research this well. Let me look up who actually wrote that book. The Case Against Satan was written by Ray Russell, and it was published in 1962, and it is one of 2 October group read books that Plagued by Visions Juan has selected for us. Plagued by Visions. I finished that on time, so hopefully I'll be present for the discussion and we'll be able to participate and give some interesting feedback on, or some thoughts on. It's a pretty good book, very short. Yeah, we'll see what people have to say about it in the group discussion. I think people are coming away with it with a pretty good impression. So now that the final bell has rung, it's time to go home and do some homework. And so the homework prompt is, what was the last nonfiction book that you read and enjoyed? I haven't read as much nonfiction as I would have liked this year so far, but I did read, not too long ago, a couple months ago, Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man by Emmanuel Acho. He is the son of Nigerian immigrants he became an NFL player. And he has a YouTube channel actually with the same name, Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, that is really worth a watch. And it is what the title says it is. Emmanuel brings up different topics, questions that are raised by presumably, as I recall, white people that ask him questions, honest questions, and he gives honest answers to. And it's a really fascinating, really interesting book. It's great to get his take on things. And it's an easy read. And when I say that, I don't mean by the subject matter, but it's a short book, and you can get through it pretty quickly. So it's not, it doesn't go too in depth into a lot of its subjects, but just enough to give you some answers and give you some jumping points into other texts, other things you might read to get you some more in depth into some of these specific subjects. It's a great book. I would highly recommend it for anybody interested in this topic. So yeah, Uncomfortable Conversations with the Black Man. Okay, I guess that's the end. The school's day is over. Homework is done. I can go maybe play some video games or read a book for fun. But I should tag somebody on this. Again, I'm unprepared, so let me take a brief moment to see who I might tag on this book and get some of this stuff off my laptop here. Okay. It's nice to film outside, but it has its drawbacks. All right, I don't know. I'm going to pick Michael K. Vaughan. I don't know if I don't know if people have done this already. I decided to just throw some names out there, and if you've done it, then great. I'll watch that video. If you haven't done it, you're tagged. Do it if you feel like it. So I'm going to go ahead and tag Michael K. Vaughan. The Lord of Vaughan Manor. Stately Vaughan Manor, of course. I'm going to tag Pay at Attention. I don't know if he's done any tags recently. He's done some pretty great in-depth videos, but I don't know that he's done any tags lately, and his are some of my favorite tag videos to watch. I'll also tag David Wiley. David Wiley also does a good job on tags. I'd like to see how he can get what his school day is like here in BookTube Landville, BookTuberama, Valley of the BookTube, Attack of the BookTube channels, the Forest of BookTubers, Club BookTube, the BookTube Shoppy. No. Revenge of the BookTubers, the Empire of BookTubers. I don't know. I'm at the rambling portion, the silly rambling portion. There's stuff in my coffee. That's all right. It happens. Anyway, thank you for watching. This is Justin at This Just In, signing off on these school days, booktube tag. I'm a little silly and unfocused, but that's okay. Thank you for watching. See you later. Bye.